Thank you, everybody, for joining us here at London Branch HQ. Delighted to say that we've got a special guest, but I think I'll open. It would be remiss of me not to mention two absolute Carlisle legends who passed away this week, Les O'Neill and Tommy Murray. Legends in their own right. I mean, it's a bit like I used to be in the army, as everybody knows, and it's a bit like the balcony with the Iranian embassy siege. Every soldier was on that balcony. When you mentioned Tommy Murray and his goal at Newcastle, every Carlisle fan of that age was in St James's that day. So I can only say it must have had a 200,000 capacity for the away fans. Tommy was written into folklore, Carlisle folklore, after that goal. Really sad loss. Les O'Neill, of course, was the season in the sun, that period when Carlisle United were on such a high. He got his goal on the opening day at Stamford Bridge, and one of the lovely conversations I had was with him, because if you've seen the clip of that goal, and it is out there, it's not the best. So I did say to Les once in reception at Brunton Park, what was it like when that hit the back of the net? And he said, I actually stood there thinking, how the hell did that go in? And if you haven't seen it, have a look at the clip, because you'll know what he meant by that. But he ended up being top scorer for a couple of weeks because he got a couple of goals after that. Two absolute legends. I can say on behalf of everybody in the London branch, our thoughts are with the families and loved ones of Tommy and Les at this time. Absolutely brilliant blokes. Another conversation that Les had with me one day a couple of years ago, we were in reception. He pulled me to one side and I thought, there's some juicy gossip coming here. And he said, how the hell have we made this signing? That signing was Paul Huntington. And I'm delighted to say that Paul is our guest today here with the London branch. Fantastic. He's a busy man. He's given up his time to be with us. And delighted, Paul, thanks you for coming with us today. And we're looking forward to talking to you.
Thanks for having me, Andy. Good to see you. Been a while. Yeah, just going on to the sad news of the two players there. Yeah, I spoke to my dad over the week. Well, the last day really, and he was filling me in about the Newcastle goal, saying he was there. So I was laughing to myself there that you were saying about the away end. Yeah, met Les a few times, and I was really shocked when I saw the news. And obviously, two Carlisle United legends, and in real top teams, I'm told anyway. And when Carlisle were fighting up the old, at the top in the old first division. Is that, have I got? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like my dad was filling me in. So, but yeah, you kind of certainly with Les anyway, like you kind of knew you were in. When he had a bit of an aura, like when you spoke to him, and obviously it was before kind of my time, really. But always pleasant, always had time for people, and yeah, as you say, sad news, and we send our best wishes to the families.
Just to finish off the introductions, the other people you'll see popping up in the group today will be Barbara Abbott, a professional photographer, worked for years with Carlisle United. John Bowman, editor of Hit the Bar, the fanzine that is now officially the longest running consecutive in-print fanzine in the country, possibly the world.
51
Dig
years.
into that one.
Wow.
So, I mean, John does a fantastic job on that, and I know everybody is delighted when it hits the inbox or they go out and actually buy the publication. So thanks to John for that. The main guest is, of course, Paul. Paul, there's only one place to start really with you, and it's the retirement. It's a big thing. It feels like everybody retires, but it feels like with the footballer, it's a really big deal. Is it a big deal, and how much soul searching did you have to do to make this decision?
I was debating whether to actually do like an official, I guess, a statement or like an announcement. Because in my head I'd decided probably 2.5, 3 months before I actually did it. It was more to kind of let people know about the new academy that we were setting up, really, because I spoke to my wife about it and I was going to do it. Then she was like, oh, like I wouldn't rush into that. And then so it put me off a little bit. And then I ended, and then I changed my mind a couple of times. I ended up doing it, but yeah, in my head, I'd kind of made up my mind a couple of months before, and I'd just been that busy for a couple of months trying to set up the coaching academy that yeah, I hadn't really addressed it. But I think like it brought up, I'd accepted it in my head. I knew that there was, don't get me wrong, there was options. There was like probably half a dozen teams in League Two. Some were northwest based, some were southwest, some were really south, and it was like my daughter's at school locally near Carlisle now, and it's like she's there Monday to Friday now. So wherever I'm at, I'm either going to have to travel a lot more than what I probably would normally. And I just wanted to be around. I mean, I got to the age of 38 in September, and don't get me wrong, I feel as though I could have went on till 40, but I was in the back of my mind, I was thinking, how long do you chase it for? You know, the last few years, not that other years were about money, but the last couple certainly weren't about money. It was more the enjoyment and showing to yourself as much as anyone that you can still do it. And location was a factor. So yeah, I didn't want to be far away from home now. With my daughter starting school this summer. So and then yeah, I just weighed up just time away from them, kind of work-life balance, and the deals that I was also getting offered. And then yeah, decided to announce it. And obviously with that, that's probably why I put it off a little bit, because it brings a lot of attention, a lot of not drama, but and that's not really me, because that's what Lindsay, my wife, was saying. She was like, it's going to bring a lot of emotion. Like, do you kind of realize that, you know, the messages you'll get, and all of the messages that I received and comments were lovely, really nice. And but there was probably, I would count on one hand, and I'm not saying I didn't appreciate each and every message, because I did, but there was probably on one hand and like a couple, and I can kind of feel myself well enough like talking about it, a couple with my mum and dad. And I remember, like, just you kind of take it for granted a little bit when you, and I see it more as a parent now, when you're young and they're working really hard to get you. I always had like the best boots, or my dad took me across to Newcastle at the age of 9, to join their academy, and he took me there 4 or 5 times a week, for training, for games, to watch the first team. And maybe when you're younger, you just think, oh yeah, you would expect that to happen. Like, you don't really think about these sort of things. And so I just said to them, thank you for, working so hard in your lives to give me the sort of best opportunity of making it, and kind of as my dream, really. So yeah, they sent my mum and dad sent me a nice message, and Brad Potts was another. He'd obviously thought about, not that other people hadn't, but he'd thought about what he was going to say. And more than anything, probably those 5 or 6 messages stand out, that kind of made me a bit emotional. And until then, I was fine. So I was like, why have I done this? It's just making me well up and stuff. But yeah, I'd accepted it a while ago. I'd gone back to Bradford pre-season. They'd said, sure, you're fit for the first 2 weeks. And I think after the first week, picked up a little niggle. Their squad was already big. It got to a point where, like, the end of pre-season, the manager was like, I was in a hotel last year. They put me up when I was signed in an apartment, took care of all of that. That was a key factor, really, that my family could come down for long weekends, and saved me traveling a lot of time, trying to keep my body right. So and then when I went back in pre-season, I was in the hotel. So 6 weeks in a hotel pre-season dragged a little bit, and it just got to a point where the manager was like, what would you like to do? And I said, we just agreed to leave it, really. He was like, I would love to sign you, but I need 3 or 4 players out, and I can't say when that would be. And he said, you obviously won't want to wait around forever. So that's how I kind of got to this point, really.
See the emotion there, Paul. Do you have those moments where you're sitting down thinking, 552 games, I actually can't believe this is over now?
Yeah, but I don't really look back and have like too many regrets. Like, I've played from leaving school at 16. I've had a good 22 years, and probably 20 years as a pro. Like, I've played in every league. I've scored in every league and won at Wembley a few times, won a few promotions, and um, played with some great players, played against some great names. And probably, yeah, more so when you certainly, I'm trying to lean on that now with our social media and just trying to put out a few of your stories that that maybe kids or people can relate to just with just like there's a lot of knockbacks and it's not all an upward curve football. A lot of it is dealing with setbacks, and one person's opinion doesn't mean that that's gospel. There's a lot of other opinions. You're told that you're not good enough, you're not needed, or and it's picking yourself off the floor and getting on to your next club who've given you an opportunity and showing that you are good enough, and proving people wrong, and whether that's to yourself or someone who's told you you're not good enough, then that's a lot of it. So I think people just see the Messis and the Ronaldos and just think that everyone's going to make it, whereas in reality the percentage is quite small, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices and really love what you do, because there has been times in my career that I've had spells where I think, like, is it worth it for when it's going great, it's a great job. When it's not, you probably, like a lot of jobs, you bring it home and it can affect your home life because you care, because it means that much to you.
Strange thing about retirement in football is that you're still a young man. I mean, you're not the retiring look, let's put it that way.
Got a few
When
more
when
grays though with this setup, with this new setup.
when do you actually, I mean, I know I'd be interested to hear if the AFL, PFA, or whoever help with this. When do you actually start to really think, what do I do next? When does that kick in, Paul, to take you to where you are now?
It was probably when I left Carlisle. The plan was always to do, when I joined, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, and finish. So the same point this summer it would have been, but I only managed to get the 2 years there. So League Two we went up, and then we came back down from League One. But I didn't manage to do. And I spoke about that, and that was always the plan. And then that kind of changed the second half of the League One season, which was hard mentally because I wasn't uh, able to play as much as I would have liked. Like, I was available, I just wasn't really being picked. And whether that was down to looking at a younger team for the following year, or playing the people that were under contract at the back end of that season, it was quite tough to watch. And obviously the team was in a real struggle. It was well short the squad for that level, and that was a mental struggle that second half of that season. And then, having left Carlisle, a lot of parents, whether I knew them or they were supporters, messaged over that summer, and I think a lot of people just presumed that I'd be finishing, retiring officially, having finished at Carlisle, because I got a lot of messages saying, "Congratulations, brilliant career," and I was like, "Thanks, but I'm not I'm not quite done. I didn't feel done. I still felt as though I could do the job." Um, and it was more so I went to the PFA camp, which was it's only been going down near Derby. It's for out of contract players for the last 2 years it's been on, and sport, they had a lot of staff there, not just footballing staff, not just fitness coaches, physios. They had psychologist, but they had a lot of educational staff, and they sat me down a few times and said, "Have you actually thought, like, obviously you are 30, was that 36, 37 at the time, 36 coming up 37, and have you thought about what you want to do?" So I spent, it was like 5 days down there during each week, Sunday night until a Thursday afternoon, the sessions were, and spent a lot of time in my room writing down ideas. And I found a few players that were there that either played part time or full time and ran really successful football academies. And the more, so I picked their brains, and I wrote down how I would ideally like to do it. And I was probably that summer, maybe only a week or two before I joined Bradford, from starting up then with the football academy, the coaching. So, because there was times where I did sit 5, 6 weeks at the PFA camp, and then I came home. I felt as though I was pretty fit, got training fit, match fit there. And then I came home and did a few weeks at home, and I was traveling to Weatherall each day, running around like their cricket pitch, thinking like questioning myself, thinking like if anyone sees me, they'll think I'm mad. Like, what are you doing? Just let it go. Just finish. And I questioned myself. There was probably a spell of like a couple of weeks where I was thinking, I don't think this call that I'm after is going to come again. There was options, but they didn't feel right. And then I think Bradford got two centre backs injured in one game at Walsall and lost. And then the call came on that Sunday night. Would I kind of fancy it? And I'd made a list of maybe 4 or 5 teams that would suit location wise. Would they be up the right end of the table, challenging? Would I be excited by it? Yes, and tick the boxes really. And I knew the manager a little bit, Graham Alexander, from he was youth team coach when I just joined Preston. Chris Lucchetti, the assistant, he was assistant, and them two were like, well, certainly the manager, legend at Preston as a player, and that sort of, yeah, that felt right, and decided to go for it. Albeit it was pretty late. I think it was the end of September. I think I signed the 1st of October. But yeah, didn't feel as though I was finished, and the thinking came initially from Carlisle United supporters and sort of families around,
Yeah.
parents asking me. That's where the
Yeah.
initial thought came from.
Yeah. I mean, so traditionally, a player towards the end of their career starts doing their badges, the coaching badges.
Yeah.
Is that a journey you've been on then? And for your academy, do you need to have certain qualifications in order to run an academy? Is that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I did earlier on in my career. I did my level 1 and 2 in during just before COVID. I did my B license. I think
Okay.
for the A license, I think that that would be more if you're in a if you're wanting to go into a first team kind of environment with first team players and stuff. Yeah, I think that would be if I was wanting to go kind of into the first team. But I think for what we're looking to do, I think what I've got is okay for now. But yeah, I've still got so much to learn in terms of um, coaching. People think, oh, football, it's just football, and yes, football, but it's putting your point across to younger children really, and trying to educate them and make sure you explain the points clearly, make sure they're listening and enjoying it as well, because I think football can get taken very seriously very early. I know that myself from going to Newcastle, and there were spells where I was in secondary school and I sort of had spells where I didn't enjoy it and disliked it. It made me dislike football really. When you just wanting to be with your friends, play with your friends, and it's taken that seriously at that sort of age. So I just want the kids to enjoy it firstly, and if they can improve, and not just in football but with manners, with bringing their personality out, being kind, being a good teammate, being a team player, and you can kind of use them sort of things going forward in life just as much as football, really.
So the model of your academy is not about producing elite, a small group of elite players. You're trying to make football accessible to, I mean, is it boys and girls, or is it
Yeah,
boys and blokes?
it's boys and girls. Yeah, we're wanting to appeal to all age groups from the ages of 6 to 16, and boys and girls. And yeah, for the moment we've just got very mixed levels. Some just starting out, some are grassroots, so middle of the way, and some are elite that are in academies or advanced in development centres. And I guess across time we'll kind of work that out as to what works best for which nights and which abilities. But for now, yeah, just putting on free taster sessions for all really. And yeah, and if they enjoy it and have smiles on their faces and would like to come back, then that's great, really.
And this is at Gretna, is it? At the Gretna
Yeah,
Football
Gretna.
Club?
I looked in Carlisle, but there's probably only four, maximum five Astro. Because in the winter you need like an Astro turf pitch that's reliable, and floodlights, because it gets darker now before 4:30 really, which I've kind of found, going up to Gretna and setting up at, I'm first in at 4 o'clock, and it normally takes me about half an hour to set the session up, and I'm the one that switches the floodlights on. So and that's usually about 4:30. But no, I've enjoyed it, and the feedback's been good, and just trying to pass on some of those experiences, and to try and help them. Like, I know not everyone's going to be able to make it, but if they enjoy it, and like coming to the sessions and get something out of it, whether that's them improve for fun or them improving it. Yeah, I'm not expecting everyone to be, as you say, an elite professional in time.
Yeah, because I mean the attrition rate for young players, from the age of 8 through to becoming a professional is huge, isn't it? I mean, presumably at Trinity, you were like the only one in your age group that kind of made it, or possibly even
Yeah,
4 or 5
yeah,
around your age group.
yeah. I think so. There was another a teammate of mine. I was in a team called Udale Pegasus when I was 9 and 10, and there was another striker at the time that joined me at Newcastle, but he sort of just did a couple of years and then got released. So, but yeah, it's crazy to see, because there was some players like in my youth team even before 16. Chris Basham was one that got released and told he was too small, and then went on to.
Not a problem
So,
you had, presumably. No.
no, no. I
No.
mean, he's retired now, just through injury, really. But yeah, he was one that got released at schoolboy age, and then went on to play for a college, and then got a chance. I think it was at Bolton or Blackpool. But yeah, there wasn't many, even, yeah, in my school. Yeah, no, not that I can remember. But even in my youth team, I think there was just myself. Andy Carroll was he played up, so he was a year below. There was Tim Krull, he was my age. We lived together with a house parent, me and Tim, in digs over in Monkseaton near Whitley Bay for the first year we were there. Um, and then, other than that, David Edgar, a little bit less known. He was a year older. Year older than that would have been like Stephen Taylor, Peter Ramage, Shola Amiobi. So yeah, there wasn't a huge amount made it, but you're at a Premier League club there, and they kind of, if they need someone, they just go out and buy them. A lot of the time, that's the way the game's going. So.
It's bound to happen, Paul. What will you do with the kids who shine and you think, wow, will you be looking to link up with clubs?
Yeah, I think so. We're not an academy that just wants them to come for the sake of coming. There's been two stand out in the 4 sessions we've done so far, and I'm just thinking, wow, how I thought, wow, straight away. It was only a 1 hour session, but how I was thinking to myself, how are they not in at Carlisle United or at Newcastle for their age group? It was like an under 10 and 11s group. So we've got 5 age groups: 6 and 7, under 6 sevens, 8s and 9s, 10 and 11s, 12 and 13s, 14s and 15s. So these were in the under 10 and 11s group, and stood out like a sore thumb. And I've kind of spoke to the parents and said, like, you'll probably know better than me because you've seen them, but they're pretty good. So that's not me to say, that's not me saying you need more sessions with me. It's, well, if they want to, great. But if they want to go to that next stage, then I think one of the parents was holding them back. Just wants them to enjoy it, which is quite refreshing, really, because normally you would see that parents would push them in and be like, "Yes, you need to make it, son," or to your daughter. So one was quite refreshing, and one hadn't really been asked. So I was just so surprised at that, like, from what I saw anyway. But yes, if that was something that they were looking to do, then I would recommend and speak to the local clubs within an hour or so from here, um and yeah, explore that for them. But that's not really something I know. There's another one locally, maybe 20 minutes away in Penrith, that does that, arranges games. Ours is just the training Monday to Friday, so it's not going to be a team thing where, obviously I spoke earlier that I'm doing the radio on match days now for Carlisle. Well, starting from the Blackpool game more consistently anyway. There'll be a few Southern games that you'll probably be at, but I'll probably. I said I'll probably leave the ones past Birmingham, maybe that are overnight, and just try and get some sort of family time on a weekend around those. But the majority I will be covering. So yeah, I'm keeping weekends and certainly Sundays free for just what I spoke about earlier, getting that work-life balance with keeping a Sunday free or a Saturday night where possible for family time. So it's not going to be teams, but the age groups and the trainings what we're kind of aiming at. And I've said to them in the sessions that if you make mistakes here, that's what training's for. Practice things, try things. Work on your weak foot. If you put the work in and you're willing to practice in your own time or with me and go away, if I give you not homework but things to work on and I see you improving, like I kind of got a buzz out of seeing those two. I was really excited by seeing those two talents the other day. Those two that I've referred to, and I kind of felt a bit the same when I was scouting more recently. That I know that was first team players, but yeah, I got a real buzz out of seeing those, train and both have signed up, so that's great, and hopefully I can help improve those and everyone else that wants to join because as I said, it's all I've known and looking forward to passing on some knowledge and experience to them.
Last bit on the academy, Paul. We were talking before we started recording about you've got your pen in the hand that we can just see there. It's
Yeah,
Well
safeguarding to
tuned.
performance reviews
yeah,
to
yeah.
making sure that your sessions are planned so that they meet all of the requirements for looking after young children. How much of a job is this that you've taken on?
Yeah, it's well, I've kind of tried to do it as much as possible as a bit of a process. So I said, just over a year ago, set the wheels in motion with a lot of the courses and the checks that you need to go through, and then more recently has been more admin emails, trying to put together a coaching team, trying to get back to people to check that they're still coming for tonight's session or tomorrow's session, and some people have been ill, so trying to rearrange another session for those that have missed out or that they've not been able to make it for whatever circumstances. So yeah, it's just a new norm really for me and a new routine. We spoke about it earlier, just been used to just getting up, going straight to training, having my breakfast, getting into your routine, your pre-activation, your prehab, which is like a dynamic stretch before training, going out to train, doing your warm up, doing your football training, coming in, having your lunch, then doing your gym session or going back out on the pitch, and then seeing the physio or seeing the sports therapist to get whatever you need for your recovery to get your body into best shape as you can for the game on a Saturday or a Tuesday night or whenever that was. So yeah, it is different. I've tried to keep up with the routine of I've got a gym at home and I'm able to kind of keep myself right more for head than anything. It keeps that routine and keeps the weight off. So, because you are sort of standing round a lot more. I still join in with the odd drill and do the warm up with them up at Gretna, but yeah, just I find that helps, even if it's half an hour or 1 hour out of my day. Just try and keep that going. I've always took pride in kind of how you look after your body and the things that especially as I've got older, the things that you put into your body, like as in not, I've never, apart from when I was younger, I cut alcohol out and made sure I was putting the right foods into my body and only really drink water. And sounds pretty boring, Andy, to be honest, but these are the sort of sacrifices that you need to make sure it's kind of something that lasts for a long time, and try to continue that and keep those good habits even though I'm not professionally playing.